I just hoped. And, it was what it was. But. And then I had nothing but troubles with that team. Jeez. We had these two brothers. I can't remember their names now. One was tiny, but a hell of a ball player. And the other one wanted to rollerblade instead of play baseball. You follow my...
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was spectacular.
Oh.
On the rollerblades. And they showed up late at every practice. And I warned them 2 or 3 times, guys, you need to be here a few minutes early. Everybody's all warmed up and ready to go, and we have to wait for you. And they didn't comprehend. So I said, well,
that actions have consequences.
Yeah, so I explained to them, okay, well, here's what's going to happen. For every minute you're late from now on, you owe me 1 lap.
I like that.
Yep, and so after 1 or 2 days of that, their dad, who was apparently a astute imbiber of alcohol, and had gotten into a bar brawl and had a whiskey bottle busted over his head, and he had a steel plate in his head, and he was an unpleasant individual, and he comes charging up to me on day 3. Well, I understand you don't like my kids being late. No, I don't. I understand that you're doing this and you're doing that. Yes, I am. Well, I don't want my kids taking laps. Then don't have them late. Well, they're going to be when I get them here. Then you do the laps. Actually told him, then you do the laps. He didn't think that was funny.
I think that's pretty funny.
Right?
Yeah. And we got nose to nose, and he finally decided that discretion was the better part of valor, and he left. And Mr. Tough Guy went right to the board and tried to complain about me.
Are we in Las Vegas this week or next?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah. We have 3 stations possibles. We're trying to figure out which one will fit us the best and see who's got the time slots open. But we're getting close.
No worries. Just was going to put it in my little shout out here. All right, well, when it is.
Here we go.
It's brought to you by the Gunslinger Shops.
Hello, Mr. and Mrs. America and all the ships at sea. You're listening to Gunslingers, brought to you from behind the Iron Curtain on Radio Free California. Right here on
The Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
That's us.
Yeah, baby.
Plus tax.
Plus, don't bring up taxes already.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're here. It's now, and boy, there should be some motion on that California tax bill. We can just ask Rick about that.
Well, we could
next week.
Yeah,
Next week.
You guys that follow the show, of course, we always have Rick from the CRPA on in the second segment, but Rick can't be here. He's got some family obligations tonight, so he'll be back with us next week, and hopefully by then he's got some good news on this stupid tax thing.
All right.
But right now there's no news, so. Usually no news is good news. On this one, it's just no news is no news. So we're still dealing with it. It's unpleasant, and
Hey, he's still fighting the good fight every day and every week. So you know what?
You're the point of the spear on that, man.
What is it we always say about elections have what again?
Yeah.
And I mean, they're just waving it in your face, guys. Get your butt up and vote, and don't just take yourself. Take your wife, take your aunt, your uncle, your sister, your brother, your next door neighbors. Get everybody out. It's time we start saying something about our country, or we're not going to have one.
Ballot should have been into the mail. You should have been checking your mailbox already, making sure that you got all the info right there with you, folks. It's the time.
And there's a lot of phony baloneyism going on as usual. Because 6 months ago, if you would have said anything about Cammie.
Yeah.
People, there's a good thing nobody's taking a shot at Biden because we don't want her.
The Democrats were throwing her under the bus.
Yeah,
oh, man.
Yet all of a sudden she is
Second coming, man.
she's a knight in white shining armor, and it's like, No, she's still the same person. You know, that same one that called us all stupid and, you know, is going to invade your house to make sure you've got your guns under lock and key. And anyway.
Let's talk about shining a turd.
A great frame.
No matter what side you shine. Right?
It's still going to smell like it does. Great frame of reference. Honestly, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? How's the price of gas? How's the price of groceries? How about the
price
care
of rent, the price of everything.
The price of rent is ridiculous. How
right?
about people being taken care of in the United States while we're shoveling money in great wheelbarrows off to foreign countries?
Well, you know, just because you lost your house, $750 covers everything, right?
Pretty sure that the homeless problem hasn't de-escalated whatsoever.
Hell, let's give them $750 too.
They're giving everyone more money than the people actually working for
Hey,
it.
remind me, why was it that FEMA didn't have money to give out?
Well, because they were giving it to other countries. Or people that are invading us from other countries.
Hey, here's a surprise. You only got so much in the bank. You can only give so much away. But that's not what we're here to talk about.
No,
this is a gun show where we talk fun with guns and no politics, except, you know, politics keep sticking their nose in my business, so...
Like a dog.
Punch like a dog.
Yeah,
I like that.
with a wet, runny nose.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, welcome to Gunslingers.
Welcome, everyone.
Take two.
It's good to be back.
You want to play the song over again? We'll just start the whole damn thing. Anyway, oh boy. Okay, so... latest at the shop this week, we picked up another large collection this week. Of course, I told you guys about all the greener shotguns and all the high-end double barrels that we've got going for our February auction. We picked up a large collection this week to kind of augment that collection. We've got some of the prettiest double barrel shotguns from England, Ireland.
Irish shotgun.
Yeah, sure. You know, it's got two barrels. In case you mess with the first one, you get them with the second. Was that Popeye? Anyhow, so we got this particular collection came with probably 25, 30 double barrels, some over-under. There's a beautiful Beretta double barrel, 20 gauge.
That is, I've handled a couple of those. That is about as nice a side-by-side as you'll ever see.
You know, the Beretta doesn't really allow the high-end stuff out of Italy very often. This gun came in the case. There's no English in this case.
Anywhere. So this is smuggled out on the Lusitania or something?
Something. It's absolutely
nice.
Just beautiful.
You don't see many
factory
of them.
engraved. No.
You don't see many of the Beretta ones, and they're so good.
You know, over-unders you see.
Yeah.
But side-bys are pretty rare.
They're special, man.
Yeah,
they have what is it with the Italians and shotguns? They're so, they conform to your body. They're graceful. They're lively.
Just like the Italian people.
Well, I was going to say vendettas. What?
Vendetta.
Anyway, this is a live show, guys. If you got a question or
comment
on Italian shotguns and how they compare to Hungarian ones or something,
give us a call. What's the number?
You're going to call in at 866-870-5752. Once again, that's 866-870-5752. As well, I want to make sure that everyone knows that we are on Rumble, YouTube, X, and if anyone's watching on there, you're going to join in. Make sure you like it, subscribe it, and share it. Want to make sure we get that out to everyone, so make sure you like, subscribe,
and
share. And that's on YouTube, Rumble, and X. We are at Gunslinger Auctions or Gunslinger Radio.
Yep, and
Check it out.
I did look at a few of these things during the week because, you know, I'm a complete idiot when it comes to anything, you know, internet. So I had Ben at the shop pull up a few of these, and we get lots of looks, but very few likes. Well, do you not like the show, or are you just too lazy to click? What is its story? So click, damn it.
Come on in, guys.
Okay.
Show the love.
So anyway, back to this collection. We picked up one of the guns was a bolt-action rifle in .404 Jeffrey. In case, you know, you have a stray tank driving through your area.
It's a problem, but there's buffalo in our neighborhood.
You know, you got, you know, Sasquatch running through your backyard or something. You need to put him down, you know. We got, let's see, one of the rifles was in .416 Rigby. And this was a CZ550.
Oh, that's a good rifle.
It's a beauty. It's got not only a real nice scope on it, I believe it had a Zeiss scope on it, but it also had this express sights. The express sights.
The fold downs.
Yeah, the rear leaf sights that fold down for longer distances.
This is a serious piece of equipment for serious business.
Yeah, and then there was one in 416 Taylor, which is kind of a rare one. We got in a beautiful bolt action in 250 3000 Savage, and it's not a Savage; it was a custom build. There's just a lot of nice stuff. This is going to be a fun auction. And speaking of auction, okay,
it's years from now in December.
Well, it is. Of course, December 15th is our next one. And get this, guys, this will be at the same place that we've been for the last 2 years at the Elks Lodge. But starting in February,
Yeah, baby.
You've been busy.
we got a new home.
Woohoo!
Yep. In the city of Anaheim, there's a place called Highway 39. Oh man, I just blanked out on the name. It's on State Street, and it's a hot rod kind of museum. I think there's 40 or 50 cars in there, all kinds of 50s convertibles. And
Wait, and you're going to be holding the auctions
inside
in a hot rod museum? Oh.
In a hot rod museum.
You sent me the video of that, and my jaw dropped. It was
Right?
just like, what? This is
It's going to be a lot more fun, especially when we don't have the guy from the Elks Lodge yelling at me every 3 minutes.
or shooting
You gotta
at
go!
daggers.
You gotta go!
Yeah. His normal thing to do would be, day before auction. Oh, by the way, I need you out of there by like 2:45.
No later.
Yeah, okay, we double booked the room now. Oh, well, thanks.
That
for
quinceañera is happening
Does
on
that
top
mean I
of your
get
show.
a
The Wilson
discount?
wedding's in.
Yeah, it's like, well, I don't get a discount, so why would I do that? Speaking of discount, let's get to Richard at the airport.
Hey!
Richard, how are you?
Good evening, you magnificent, graceful gunslingers.
Graceful.
Talking
We are
about
so
the-
graceful.
Say, hey, who came in,
Grace-filled.
What can we do for you tonight?
What kind of gun would you recommend for a young lady for her defense?
Oh, we got that question last
We
week.
probably
Yeah,
have,
we
we
did.
probably have
Well,
3 different answers here.
Yeah, there's a few. And Richard, let's limit it down a little bit. You mean in the house or out and about?
Both, but
Well-
in the house and for out in public.
Well, in the house, I would go always with a pump shotgun. And if it's a smaller lady, as I said last week, something maybe in like a Mossberg Youth 410 with the what are they? Federal premium
The
defense
ball.
loads. Yeah, just will knock you definitely down, and limited recoil on the other side. So that would be outside or inside.
Inside.
Outside. Boy, there's a awful lot of
2.5
stuff.
inch hammerless 38.
Would be a good gun. I would recommend they go and shoot it quite often to get used to the feel of it.
Absolutely.
But that would be a good gun. Richard, we're running out of time. We went a little long. Give us your joke for the day.
Okay, Halloween's coming. How would you describe a person walking around in a cemetery at night where there's open crypts?
Open where there's open crypts. I would tell him to mind his footwork.
Go ahead. What is it, Richard?
What is it?
Okay, you would say they're in grave danger.
Oh, good.
You got us this week, Richard. We'll talk to you next week.
God bless you, Richard.
Have a good one.
Okay, take care. All right, you're listening to Gunslingers right here on.
The Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
We're taking calls as of right after this commercial. Give them a number.
866-870-5752.
All right, we'll be right back.
Yes, we will. You Darvish.
Who is now into the 7th inning.
Running out of innings, you're running out of outs.
Yep.
I actually liked Darvish when we was on our team. It's just that the Astro cheater game really screwed him over.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he did lose 2 games in that World
Yep,
Series.
and that was I wouldn't put it all the way up to him, his pitching. They were
No.
calling calls.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you know the heater's coming.
Yeah.
Plus, Gunslinger has huge gun auctions several times a year. Our next auction is on December 15th, where you can bid on incredible pistols, rifles, art, and collectibles in person.
Ding.
Or with us. Go to
Who ordered the avocado toast?
Hours, corrections, and past Gunslinger Show program, info on firearms, ammo, and information on our next
Calling Dr. Howard, Dr. Fine, Dr. Howard.
Gunslinger Auctions.
And that's gunslingerauctions.com.
There she was, just a walking down the street singing do-a-diddy-diddy-dum diddy-do, snapping her fingers and shoveling her feet singing do-a-diddy-diddy-dum diddy-do. She looked good, she looked fine, she looked good, she looked fine, and I nearly lost my mind before I knew it. She was walking next to me singing do-a-diddy-diddy-dum diddy-do. We better stop now because we're going to go past our 20 seconds. All right. Welcome back, everybody, to Gunslingers right here on
The Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
which is now on from San Diego to San Francisco and from LA to Phoenix. And soon we've got 3 stations in Vegas that we're talking to, and it's looking real good. We just haven't gotten, we're working on trying to get the time free and so on and so forth. So hopefully we'll be in Vegas really soon.
Oh, boy.
And then, if we get into Vegas, then maybe we'll have to do something like put some kind of a satellite store in Vegas.
Hey, baby. I mean, we're
Place to
growing,
have a
folks. We are growing. I mean, not just the show, but the auction's growing, and we're growing on the YouTube and Rumble and X. So, again, just going to make sure I prop this up there because we want to push this show and keep growing. Make sure you're liking. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you're sharing this with your friends. This is a great show. We have the best audience on radio, so it'll be a lot of help, folks.
Can the Mississippi be far away?
I don't know.
I don't want to get in front of ourselves.
I
here.
don't know.
Let's cross the desert first.
Say one state at a time. And of
right.
course, again, this is a live show. And what's that number?
You're going to call in at 866-870-5752. Once again, that's 866-870-5752.
Yeah, you got questions about guns or questions about, what should you do when to do paperwork, so on and so forth, or you've been denied paperwork, you want to know why. I answered a few of those this week.
If you want to know how long it's going to take to get your guns into the next auction, let's bring that up sometime.
Yeah.
Double action or single action, striker fired or hammer fired. Ask away. Ask away.
give us
This
a
show will
call.
be as live as you make it.
That's
Yeah,
true.
baby.
That's true. And speaking of a review, we've got Mark in Woodland Hills. Mark, what can we do for you, sir?
Yes, I have an opinion on a shotgun half review kind of thing, but I was hoping you could tell me what your opinion is and review the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0. If it's even allowed in California, it looks like a great gun, which means it probably isn't. And, well, how about that?
Well, as of right now, I don't believe the 2.0 is. The Bodyguard revolver, I know is. I'm thinking that the 380 Bodyguard is,
380.
is okay, but I don't think the 2.0 has hit the California so-called roster yet.
I was thinking it might only have the restricted magazine capacity. Well, let's see. I guess it says you can have 10 or 12 round mag plus one in the spout.
Right. Well, yeah,
so
but
I don't know how they would.
California stops you at 10 because 11 would, would send us into a whole new orbit, and we'll collide with the moon and all kinds of horrible things. So you can't have.
Well, don't worry. We're going to have Australian and New Zealand style mandatory gun buyback if we can get the comrade in.
Yeah.
Hey, folks, if you want Soviet style gun control, don't vote.
Yeah, just stay home. That's all I have to do. They'll take care of the rest for you.
Yeah, exactly.
I did have a question, however, sir, about a pump shotgun by RIA. It's the VRPA 40 MagFed. I have relatives who bought one. I haven't been out with them yet, neither have they. But I think for people that are in their middle ages, it's kind of it's a tough thing to load, don't you? Have you found that to be the case?
Yeah, RIA, that's Rock Island Armory, is what that stands for. And this is a Philippine company, and they're making some decent firearms. They're a little bit on the
rugged side, industrial.
So they're a little stiff coming out of the box, and that goes for pretty much all of their firearms, including their 1911s, which is kind of their backbone.
But they're good runners as a rule.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the gun. It's just that what they tend to overproduce with springs. So let's just put it that way. So
You can.
Yeah, I almost lost my thumbs trying to load it myself just to see, and they said, "Oh gosh, it's so hard." Mark, tell us what to do.
That's what he's talking about. You can conceal a lot of sins with enough spring pressure.
Yeah. So, and it's tough, especially if you're not a really good gunsmith, to start tinkering with springs, because you can tinker and then all of a sudden you've basically ruined the gun. This is one of the worst things with 22s. People always bring 22s in and they want action work.
Oh, and if you soft it too much,
then it doesn't
won't run
work.
anymore.
And half the time you do that, you can't get the parts to replace to fix it back, and so you've just basically killed the gun.
Mark, do you like it because of the magazine?
I hope you guys can expand to Tampa, because I think you would find a very welcome audience in that area. I have property in Anapolina, Luna's District 13, Florida.
Okay.
Clearwater, and there's a completely different ambiance. The zeitgeist is completely different as far as the Second Amendment rights.
Wow.
And I think you would find a very welcome audience in the Tampa area.
Well,
why not?
Rome wasn't burnt in a day, so eventually, I'm sure we'll spread out.
My family out that way. They live in Florida and sprinkled throughout, and they love the show. So I know the like minds out there.
Yeah. So this whole thing just kind of came about. They kind of said, "Hey, we've got other stations here and there," and it's like, well, let's dabble, and we're getting good responses everywhere we're going.
Give you some quality airtime.
Yeah. So I have no problem with it, but I really kind of want to stick to the West Coast for the most part for the time being, because let's face it, I am doing this to advertise my show on top of trying to help people out. And until California's draconian laws about importing firearms from other states goes away, vis-a-vis the roster, then there's not a whole lot of point in doing stuff too far away, because guy's got a Smith & Wesson Model 29, the most powerful handgun in the world, and believe it or not, if it's the very first model, not even a dash or a dash 2 or 3 or 4, nope, I can't import it, because by California standards it's considered a Saturday night special, even though it's $1,500.
Right.
So
made out of the finest chromoly steel money that can buy. Yeah.
So this is the kind of stupidity we've been dealing with since the year 2000, when we got Gray Davis and the uber majority of
even the hysteria over ammo is just hysterical.
Oh,
and for a lot of people, Florida is a good plan B.
Yeah.
And you'll find them very welcoming folks. It's not like moving to Oregon.
Yeah.
Well, let's face it.
You would not be welcome.
Let's face it.
Don't bring your politics to Florida.
Yeah. No. It's kind of that way everywhere. Mm-hmm. Arizona and Nevada are the same. It's like, well, we don't mind you coming, but you leave that California stuff in California, and it's like, no, we don't want to hear either.
Yes, move it out of country, please.
You, gentlemen.
Okay, Mark. Thanks for the call.
Good call, Mark.
Take care.
Good evening. God bless.
God bless you. Thank you so much.
Okay, that opens up lines. What's that number, Jimmy?
That's going to be 866-870-5752. Once again, that's 866-870-5752.
Oh, man.
Stand on point. Stand on focus.
I just peeked over my shoulder, and it looks like the Lottie Dodgers showed up tonight.
Oh, this is a heartbreaker.
They're not producing well.
Well, they got 6 outs to go.
Yeah, it's, what is it? 4-1 in the top of the 8th.
They can do it.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Well,
come on, Dodgers.
I mean, as we were saying earlier, let's face it, the Dodgers basically have an all-star team.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they have a manager that can turn an all-star team into
to the bad news.
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
Hey, anyhow, that's another story for another day.
That's a whole.
I had a question for you, because I wanted to trailer off of what Mark had asked about. How do you feel about a magazine-fed shotgun versus a tube-fed shotgun?
The mags are too damn big.
It is on a. It's the size of like a 30-round magazine for a rifle, and you get 5 rounds typically.
Yeah, and I mean, any pump shotgun, if you take the plug out, you've got 5 rounds pretty much right there, and you don't have this horrific thing sticking out the bottom
that
you could practically use as a monopod.
it's tried and true, and it gives you balance. You have all these things that have worked in history for it, and adding a magazine to it kind of disrupts the whole ethics.
Well,
of it.
I think they were going for a tough guy look.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, don't you see?
Have
It's
you
kinda
seen
like,
the 3-gun shotguns that use the extended like 20 and 30? They're silly. They say there's nowhere in the real world that works.
Yeah, well,
I know. So I'm kind of like you, and plus it's another thing to lose or break or cock up.
Well, and you,
absolutely.
like I said, you get those 20 and 30 round box mags for 12
just-
gauge. It is a monopod.
What
I
is
mean,
that Vegas company that was producing some of those shotguns, and some of them came mag fed and all, and then the results, a lot of people coming back saying that it wasn't the most pleasant of shots because of the feeding problems that they may have and all that.
Vegas company? That Black Aces?
Aces?
That's a Turkish
It's
company.
Turkish,
Yeah.
but I mean, I think
they kind of tried to play off of the Vegas theme. type of
Everything's
look.
Turkish. All these,
Pretty much.
yeah. So just to let everyone know, stop
I don't
buying
know.
Turkish.
You know, during COVID, when we were buying and selling
Anything you could lay your hands on.
yeah, and selling everything that we were getting in, we were doing a lot of Black Ace stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I haven't seen any.
Boy, they did disappear pretty quick, didn't they?
Yeah, so I'm
Quick as
kind
they
of.
came.
And here's the difference: the Rock Island Armory stuff. To drop a comparison, the Turkish stuff is very crude. The Rock Island Armory stuff is pretty crude. Rock Island Armory stuff tends to work.
Yeah.
That is not something that can always be. I don't want to be bad mouthing anybody's firearms company, but dude, make a better gun.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, quick. What's the number?
866-870-5752. Once again, that's 866-870-5752.
You're listening. Oops, sorry. You're listening to Gunslingers right here on
The Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
Oh, we'll be right back.
Yeah. Tell me not to.
The hill just got a little bit steeper.
Too right.
$1 billion, 2 guys. One of them's not going to throw a pitch. The other guy never pitched to Major
We
Leagues.
got somebody online and nobody answering it. I don't know what's going on in there.
This one is for our business audience. Are you aware that our loyal listeners eagerly engage with our advertisers because they know that these advertisers
Oh,
share their
okay. No,
values
RJ's on the
and
phone.
care about our programming as much as they do. Listeners, tell your favorite businesses about us.
Oh, you cut Waylon off.
I did not on purpose.
Strategies that drive
And actually, I didn't.
and engage with you.
Ryan did in the booth. Go yell at him.
We never get to yell at Ryan.
Customers, join with us today to continue spreading the good word.
It's always tough. You're going up against baseball, a huge national football rivalry game on
Right.
Sunday night, and the Dodgers playing. It's
Well, I think a lot of people might be turning the game off now.
It's 6-1 now.
okay.
We might see an uptick.
They got 6 outs.
Fair enough.
Oh, the phone call is Linda from Burbank.
Yeah, I know. I told him I said, if we didn't have any other calls, I'd say pass.
Yeah.
It'll generate
Yeah.
Yeah, give it time. I
We
mean,
don't usually start getting real.
until after Rick anyway.
Yeah.
So people get in the habit of calling after 7:40.
Yeah.
So we'll keep pushing. I'm going on all the sites and saying, hey, give us a call. It's you know.
All of them working okay?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Everything looks great to me, Jimmy.
that's great. Everything is jumping
We're
back and forth.
officially free to get back onto the space plant, right? But I'm not saying we're gonna.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
we should
It's
be.
nothing but trouble. Why bother?
I never checked it because I figured I'm happy with the 3. But
Yeah.
if we go 4, who knows what the hell will happen with this thing?
Yeah.
Smoke will start coming out the back. We could try it again because I know you had a lot of followers on Facebook.
Yeah, and there's some
And you can
ongoing
do-
complaints.
You could do 1 or 2 weeks and saying, look, because of all the problems, we're just going to migrate over to these 3, and we can do it for like 2 weeks and then stop.
Well,
that's
maybe we'll
100%
try
okay.
that next week.
Okay.
All right.
We'll give it a shot. I can always try. I can try to log in and see if I can even get into it, just to see if it's open yet.
All right.
Okay.
I do rather like the smugness of using the tools of the left against them.
Yeah. Yeah, except that all they do is,
If they're going to keep jamming us, obviously.
shadow banning us and so on and so forth.
You have dock worker chaos and then potential regional Middle East war. This plays into Donald Trump.
I have no idea what is going on here. But this reminds me of Blade Runner Future from Hell. Pretty swing.
That's the guy that they think is going to be Rookie of the Year. You know, it's bad enough they've given up 6 runs, but to only get 1 run?
Power-packed lineup, but good pitching.
You Darvish, the guy's like 80.
Yeah. 38 years old, got 100 wins. Now, so you run out the guy with the 5.12 ERA. That ought to shut him up.
Right. I'm pretty sure they're out in the parking lot just seeing if they can. Hey, anybody know how to pitch? We'll give you a uniform.
Hey, where's the peanut guy?
Yeah.
I know you got an arm.
$50 in a uniform. Let's go.
Charge more than that for the parking, dude. You got to give him 60, or you can't afford to park.
Well, he's one of the employees.
TheAnswer.com. Maybe, baby, I'll have you. Maybe, baby, you'll be true. Maybe, baby, I'll have you for me. It's funny, honey, you don't care. You never listen to my prayer. Maybe, baby, you will love me someday. Welcome back, everybody, to Gunslingers right here on
The Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
And it's time for phone calls. What's that number, Jimmy?
That's going to be 866-870-5752. Once again, that's 866-870-5752.
And like I said earlier, of course, Rick from the CRPA can't be with us tonight because he's got some family issues he's got to deal with, but he will be back next week. So you can call in and ask a question, and we'll forward it to Rick for next week.
Absolutely. And make sure that... Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, no. And make sure that you guys are still going on crpa.org and contact at crpa.org. Make sure you're showing your support still. Support Rick and all that he does. Support the CRPA, folks.
And speaking of, in Riverside County, our frequent guest, Sheriff
Chad?
Yeah, Sheriff Chad.
Sheriff Shad.
Yeah. It's like me and Curtin Clayshaw. I cannot say Clayton Kershaw. Every time I see him, it's like, hey, it's Curtin Clayshaw.
You won't have to for much longer, apparently.
Yeah, apparently not. Yeah, well,
Don't turn around.
Do not look over your shoulder.
Oh, yeah. Well, apparently everybody that's not listening to us that's watching the Dodgers should be listening to us pretty soon.
Tune in,
It'll hurt a
folks.
lot less.
Yeah, because as I said, the Lottie Dodgers have shown up tonight, and they are not doing well. They're now down 7-1.
If you'd like a play-by-play, it's more like a pray-by-pray right now.
Well, oh man, this is just,
They can do it. They can get 6 home runs back to back to back to back to back to back to back, can't they?
no.
I'm not really squared away on this game.
Crazier things have happened.
I mean, this lineup could be a murderer's row type of thing, but
No, they're killing me.
Oh, you got that right.
Question is asked by Doug. Chad Bianco, possible gubernatorial candidate. We would love to see it.
Yeah. Oh, well, what I was starting to say is, if you go to his Facebook page, he's got a list of people to vote for. In my city, Norco, he's listed the 3 people he thinks you should do for city council.
City council, school board, whatever you got.
Which I was very happy to see, because he's listed Mr. Gordon and Fia Sullivan and, of course, Robin Grunmeyer. And these are the 3 picks of mine. These are also 3. Well, Robin lives across the street from me, and the other 2 are Facebook friends of mine. So these are the people I'm voting for.
Heck yeah.
All politics is local politics, and I tell you, the rot starts at the base, or the foundation starts at the base.
Yeah.
So you don't get to pass any of these elections. You need to get out. You need to get voting. Again, it starts locally. Why do you think you have screwed up school boards and stuff like that? It's because people don't pay attention.
Yep.
Spend 10 minutes or spend the rest of your life wallowing in misery.
Come on,
Yep.
folks.
And this, I don't want to vote because I don't want them to find out who I am, where I am.
Put that out the pasture, folks.
Yeah, because it's incorrect. They know where you are. They know what you have. They know the color of your car. They know, everything that you don't want them to know. They already know.
They know what you buy. They know what you
if
think.
you don't believe me, just pick up your cell phone and mention any kind of product, and with 5 minutes, you'll be getting ads on it. So they're listening. Get over it. Okay. And if you don't want them to, maybe you should get out and vote people that would do away with that kind of thing.
Oh, think about it, folks. You have the power, honestly.
Yeah, we really do. We still do. But we don't have it for long.
Nope. That's why this matters so much, folks.
A month from yesterday, if we don't get the right votes in,
vote again, folks.
You may not be listening to us much longer because they're going to try and put me out of business.
So vote early if you can. Vote in groups and numbers. Make sure you're corralling your friends, your family, your neighbors, everyone, because this is a big one, folks. We always say this every election year. This is the most important election. But think about it. The time we've been through these last 4 years, and if they continue and just continue to get worse,
I mean, honestly,
where do you find yourself?
The left, all they have is to complain about Mr. Trump. They can't,
honestly,
they never tell you anything about what they're going to do because they're not going to change what they're doing now.
No.
That's their big secret, is they're not going to change anything.
They're in power. It's working. Why do you fix that? Why do you fix what ain't working?
Yeah, and it may not be working for you and I, but it's working for them.
Exactly.
Because they're
America.
lining their pockets. Every one of these countries that we're sending money out to, at least half of that money's coming back and going into particular people's pockets. Let's just face it.
You always think about whatever happened to the phrase "for the people, by the people." And now it's not. We are not the people anymore, folks.
It's like that. Years ago, somebody made a joke about the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, unless, of course, this offends you. And to the now democracy for which it stands, one nation under your own personal deity here, completely divided with liberty and justice for those that can afford it.
Right.
So this is what we're heading for if you don't get your butt off the couch and get out there.
And we're talking about local elections, but imagine what happens if you have a Democratic win and they get 2 or 3 Supreme Court justices in.
No.
Those people will be going on. You don't understand how important all of this stuff is until you realize that those justices who are going to determine what it is that the Constitution actually says. Remember, it's not what it says, it's what they say it says. These people might be in office for another 30 years determining that the Constitution, that whole Bill of Rights was complete.
It's a living document.
Breathing document that we need to change.
Yeah.
And so rather than use Congress, we'll legislate from the bench, which is, by the way, we have a new Supreme Court period starting on Monday, and we're going to talk briefly about Garland versus Vanderstoke, which is the ATF has arbitrarily made rulings regarding ghost guns. Remember, they did the same thing with bump stocks. That is the purview of Congress to make laws. You don't want to have regulatory agencies just making stuff up because they don't like it, and they're doing the bidding of their masters in the Oval Office. So the question before the Supreme Court is, can we allow ATF to make up regulations regarding what is a gun, what's not a gun, who has to enforce the law, that sort of thing? It's coming up. That'll be coming up. They'll be listening to the arguments on Tuesday. And at the same time, Massachusetts passed a sweeping bunch of firearms regulations this week to take effect immediately. No waiting until January 1st, which is how laws are usually enacted. Again, all this stuff is going on, and surprisingly enough, a lot of it has to do with stuff that the Supreme Court will be deciding about on Tuesday. Follow? So pay attention to this stuff. Again, Supreme Court justices are one of the biggest powers that the President of the United States has. And think of getting a couple of more Sonia Sotomayor's or Ketanji Brown's holding that position for 30 years.
That couldn't define what a woman was?
30 more years of that.
Yeah.
Imagine that, folks. Come on.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm the professor. That's me going pro. But God darn it, this election, we keep saying this election really, really matters.
Well, every election matters.
Everyone does.
This one might be our last. Okay. Speaking of
back
which,
to guns.
let's get to Linda in Burbank since we're going to go off the deep end. Linda, go ahead.
When I called 3 weeks ago, I was saying how I heard this digital dollar will be going into effect in December, and it'll affect people buying a gun because it will really track every, purchase, by the government.
Right.
There is a website to check all this out. It's called goldquiz.com. I forgot to give you the website last time when I called. It's goldquiz.com.
Okay.
And I don't have a smartphone to look at it or anything like that. There's also a phone number, too. It's probably on the website, too. You can also call, too.
All right. So goldquiz.com.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Thanks for the call.
Well,
Take
stop.
care now.
Another call?
Yeah, let's get to Craig in Simi Valley. Craig, what can we do for you, sir?
Evening, Greg.
I got a question about my firearm question. I got a whole bunch of guns. I've been shooting since the 80s and the whole thing. My primary gun is a SIG 226.
Nice.
And I have a Ruger LC9, and I'm using the same exact ammo, and the thing just kicks like the 2-inch snubby that I have. I also have a 442 38 special. And I'm just wondering if maybe there's something wrong with the recoil spring. I bought it used. Looks like it's in fine shape, but it shouldn't be kicking that much. It's standard ball, 115 grain ball ammo, and I was wondering what you guys think. If that's
I own
normal,
an LC9.
Yeah,
and it is a smaller semi-auto, and it's
a tiny semi-auto. They've monkeyed with the triggers so many times. Which one do you have?
Yeah, well, I've got the first version that the trigger pull you need, 40 mule
the
team on the other
was
side.
Built into the trigger.
Yeah, and it's a little bit stiff, but the reason that it's kicking you is because it's a smaller. Just a smaller, lightweight firearm.
You can't cheat physics.
Yeah, and 9mm, believe it or not, can be a little bit snappy. You look at the Glocks, and the Glock 43, I don't care for, but the 43X is a little bit larger and a little
distributes the same recoil over a larger area, and there's more mass
and much more easy to handle.
Yeah.
I took the 43. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know that everybody says it's because of the lightweight and this and that, but it shouldn't be comparable to a 38 snubby.
It should be.
Yeah,
what, 13 ounces?
Yeah, it should be.
Because the 9mm is a little bit more powerful than most 38 cartridges.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, but honestly, you just think it's. It's shooting the empty shells about hits the ground about 6 feet away from where I'm standing. It's kind of in the normal range. It just. I can't believe it. I also have the Glock 26 9mm, same ammo, and it doesn't kick anywhere near the same. And it's a little heavier, but it's...
How much wider is the back strap on that gun? You're distributing the same amount of recoil over a much larger area.
Yeah.
You mean on the Glock 26?
Yeah.
Yes. Because that's a little cinder block.
Wider, yeah.
Yeah, it's considerable. It's almost double. The way it's called a double stack.
Clever that. A thought for you, Craig. Consider getting some Liberty ammunition, that 50 grain stuff, or just some stuff that is some 9mm ammunition that is 90 grain or so. You're launching a lighter projectile. You're not going to feel the impact as much, and it should run fine in your pistol. Try that.
Well, it cycles and it does the whole. Do you think? It's always a controversy, and some of these things don't make sense. A 115 versus 124 versus 148 grain bullet is a lighter or heavier bullet going to give me less recoil?
Lighter will be less.
Potentially, it can, depending on the velocity at which it is launched. But typically, the lighter's going a lot faster.
Yeah.
But there is simply, as Jeff suggests, there's simply less bullet coming out the barrel, so it's not going to be pushing. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
I can't argue with that law.
I didn't make it up, man.
What about possibly putting some sort of a rubber grip, a tape-on kind of thing, or might that help?
Hogue makes a slide over.
Around.
Yeah, slide over with finger grooves. That might help a little bit, but
you're compromising what the pistol is intended to do, which is be very small, very lightweight, and especially very, very slender, so you have it with you. Try some. I'm telling you, try some 50 grain ammunition, or what is the Hornady critical defense? They make like a 90 grain.
I think it's a 105.
Is it 105?
Yeah. Give that a roll, and if you don't like it, just chalk it up to the fact that it's just the way this gun is. It's snappy.
Well, it's not intended as a pleasure shooting gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that conceal. The SIG is just you can shoot that all day, and it basically has, as far as I'm concerned, almost no recoil. I mean, it's not a 22,
but you're comparing Cadillacs to donuts.
I'm 6 foot. I was going to say I'm 6'3", 211 pounds. So I don't have a problem concealing either in my waist. I mean, I don't have a pot belly or anything, so I don't have a problem. But anyway, I guess. I'll just have to get used. Maybe I'll try the rubber. Maybe I'll try the what is that? Those target loads that are reduced loads. Like
you don't even have to get reduced loads. Just get something that's intended for a small, lightweight pistol.
Yeah. Look for something in 105 grain.
Yep.
All righty.
Try
Thank you very much.
And then get back to us. Let us know what you think.
It's a great show, by the way. I like it. Always have great information of all kinds of topics.
Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you.
Take care. What's he trying to say? We're know-it-all?
Well, we do shoot kind of a lot.
Well, there's that. Well, he said all kinds of topics. You know, like the Lottie Dodgers. Okay, you're listening to Gunslingers right here on
the Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network,
where we're so sad the Dodgers are getting their butts kicked. We'll be back right after this. I love.
Now imagine you paid $2,500 a ticket for this game.
Oh man, that would not be nice. Well, we've got Roger in Long Beach wants to talk about 9mm, and Kathy in Chino Hills wants to talk about ghost guns.
And David Holden says, "You got any grenades for sale?"
No.
That's curiously enough. No, that's not something we do.
No.
I recommend you join the U.S. Army.
Yeah. Oddly enough,
they give them to you.
I'm not a big fan of prison.
What?
That's just me.
Not one of my favorite places.
That's what you get for being a pretty boy, Jeff.
Yeah, fine. I don't. I've been to jail. I don't plan on going back.
Nope.
And so. That's gunslingerauctions.com.
Oh yeah.
It's getting to the point where I'm no fun anymore. I am sorry.
Do you know this is a 145?
Sometimes it hurts.
With that crazy tuning.
Yeah, that crazy tuning. For those of you that want to know, that tuning is E-E-E-E-B-E.
So it's all drone strings.
Yeah, for 6 strings. They're all E's except for the second last is a B, which is it's already a B. So everything else. And of course, when they did it live, they down-tuned everything to D, so it was D, 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 A, D. Go figure. Anyway.
And they still got on top of those notes.
Yeah, well, dropping them a little bit didn't hurt. But. So, yes, welcome to Gunslingers, where we talk nothing but music theory.
And hydraulic lifters.
Yeah, well, we'll be discussing a circle of fifths right after this.
Right. Here we go. Everyone get your pen and pad out.
Do not look over your right shoulder.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Every time I look up, there's a guy making left-hand turns in a brown uniform.
8-1, the San Diego Madres over the Lottie Dodgers.
There's going to be some inflated ERAs at the end of this game. Hey, fun fact, you guys will like this one. What gun did Tom Selleck carry on Magnum PI? I know this one.
On Magnum PI?
Yeah.
You know what?
He stuffed it in his waistband in those little tiny bikini shorts.
I'm gonna make a confession. I don't think I've ever watched a single episode of Magnum PI.
Your life is not appreciably poorer for that.
I've met the man several times, and he's just a great guy. Yeah, but I don't think I ever.
The only thing I can remember from that show is the mustache.
Everybody, the mustache, and I hate to say it, but the shorts.
And the Ferrari GT308. Yeah, that I remember, but that was always in the commercials. But I never saw. I don't know what was it.
Okay, well, he carried in 1911.
Okay.
And
short.
And which would make sense because he was an ex-Navy guy, right?
Yeah.
And they implied that he was in the Special Forces or something like that, and that would have been standard issue back then. So the question was, what caliber? And I'm going to guess the answer will be, because we're on a slight delay here, was it a 9mm or was it a 45?
Well,
probably for the show. For the
9
purpose
mil?
of the show, it was probably 9mm.
I would
so they
think
could
so.
shoot the blanks.
Yeah, I would imagine that's probably the case. What was that movie we discussed about Tom Selleck was in with all the little robots and Gene Simmons?
Oh, man, I remember that
Gene
thing.
Simmons, because in that movie, he carried a 1911 also, but that was a sexy 9mm. That was the Daytonics Scoremaster. I've got a few of those. Those are shoot.
Only other movie I'm thinking
Whatever
about.
you do, don't look over your right shoulder right now.
Oh, no.
Don't do it again.
Is this batting practice? What is going on here?
Oh, send him out. Send him out.
Oh,
Yeah.
my aching bones.
Okay.
6 home runs this evening, folks.
Well, hey,
Every time I look up, a guy in a brown uni's making a left-hand turn.
there's a manager for you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He
Okay.
knows how to pick them relievers.
Speaking of which, the only other movie I was thinking about that Tom Selleck was in besides Down Under is Mr. Baseball.
Mr. Baseball's pretty good.
I actually love Mr.
I
Baseball. That's
like
a great
that.
I'm not a
movie.
child. You don't have to teach me how to take a.
Okay. Anyway, folks, we got lines open. Jimmy, what's that number?
That's going to be 866-870. Sorry, it's baseball. 866-870-5752. Once again, that's 866-870-5752. And if you're watching us on any of the streaming services, YouTube, Rumble, or X, make sure you're liking, subscribing, and sharing. Come on, folks, help us out.
Movie was Runaway.
Runaway.
Mark in L.A., thanks, man. It was driving me nuts.
Yeah, that's.
That was a creepy movie. Those little robots with those needles on them.
Oh, man, right? And
Creeped me out.
Crazy movie. And, of course, Gene Simmons is in it, so there's that. Okay, let's get to Roger in Long Beach. Roger, what can we do for you?
Oh, good evening. Great show, and
Thanks, Roger.
we're filling out our voting ballots this week, and we're going to mail them in the first chance we get. But I got a question about the CZ75D PCR 9mm, and my wife can't rack that gun.
Yeah,
It's got a Petter's design slide. Yes.
So I'm wondering, is there anything? I'm going to put some different sights on, but is there any way to kind of unstiffen it up? Or
Here's all that you can do for that thing. That slide is so diminutive. It's tough getting your hand around it. There's simply not enough material to grasp.
Yeah,
And that's your biggest problem.
Yeah, believe it or not, that is a problem for lots of folks.
No problem with my hands, and it's a chore for me.
I don't have too much of an issue with it, but I don't care for it. It's just
There's no place to get your hand on
the
it.
top is just too small.
It's a great gun if you're otherwise or 18 years old, and
larger sights might be an option.
give you something to bite
But
on.
To be honest with you, I think you're probably throwing good money after bad trying to get something to make it work. Get her something else. Get her something, because you know what? It's like driving a car. Once you get in a car and you just don't like the way that car handles, it's never going to handle right for you, even if you
Put new shocks, new tires. You're right.
It's just never going to be right. So get her something that makes her happy.
Honestly.
all right,
It's a real good gun, but
I like shooting it, and I like how it fits in my hand. But
well, there's nothing wrong with his and hers.
No, absolutely not.
So you adopt the CZ and get her something.
And she can get colors now.
Yeah.
You know what? I shot a CZ competition pissel just yesterday. I was at West End yesterday, and I shot a CZ comp pistol, and they had a little L-shaped lever. The gentleman who loaned it to me, thanks, Lou, had an L-shaped lever on it that stuck about 1.5 inches out the side of the slide. And it was so they could put an optic on it, because when you put an optic on it, there's nothing to grab.
Yeah.
And I was very, very, very impressed with that. And there's no way on earth you can carry it anywhere other than to a firing line and back. But with that little lever, it was a piece of cake. Just snack the lever. And,
the rack, it was easy to rack then.
Yes, so. So if that's not an issue, you might consider doing that. But man, what Jeff says is true.
Yeah, get her something that makes her happy.
All right, just bring this piece into the Gunslingers, and put it on the auction.
Well, you can do
That's
that,
one way.
or like I said, keep it. Just get her,
Get her something she likes.
get her
One's for
own.
each of you.
She can even do colors now.
Yeah.
All right.
Okie doke.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Fabulous show. And I listen all the time. And I got my headphones ready to go back on.
Okay.
All right.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Keep singing them in there. And thanks so much.
Thank
Great
you.
show. And yeah, we need you. We need you to get over there to Florida and the whole USA.
Well, we're slowly heading that way, so I'm sure eventually we'll be there somewhere.
Creeping and crawling.
But we're voting early, and they even sent my daughter a ballot, and she hasn't been living here in 5 years.
Wow.
Whoa.
That gets back to the whole ballot harvesting.
Well, yeah.
That's right.
This
Anyway,
is-
thank you so much, and well, keep listening.
Okay, Roger.
thank
Thanks
you.
again. Take
Good
care now.
call. The CZ75 is a good gun, but man, it does
Yeah.
have that built-in quirk.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan, and there's just so many others that you can grab that are.
So much easier to work.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agreed 100%.
The 226 got mentioned earlier. I love Glocks. I shoot my Glock 19 and my Glock 17.
Boy,
and
howdy do ya.
34. I love shooting those guys. And Scott, if you're out there, I haven't heard from you. We're supposed to go shooting in the morning, but I haven't heard, so I don't know what's going on. So if so, I'll be bringing those guys out tomorrow to be shooting.
Nice.
So. And I'm shooting, clay birds at 45, 50 yards on the berm. And with my Glocks and not having any problems.
No
so.
problems. The Glocks, man, tried and true. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear music, and we're going to the top of the hour. That means we're coming up on our next power packed hour where we're taking your phone calls. Quick, what's the number?
866-870-5752. Once again, that's 866-870-5752.
You're listening to Gunslingers right here on
The Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
And we'll be right back.
Yes, we will.
Well, they have a half an inning left. They got 3 outs. They can get it back to 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 back and tie it up.
Well, I mean, the Padres just did, so what the...
Ouch. Yeah, they did.
Jeez.
You know what? Jeff, you were right. It's time for the peanut guy. Get that guy uniform.
I mean,
Holy smokes.
you got Gratterall.
I'm assuming you don't mind if I throw my Steelers game back on there.
No, feel free.
No, I'm waiting
is
for the
just
comeback. Come
Pissing
on.
me off and depressing me.
Well, hopefully it
Yeah, we're waiting for a 9th inning, 9-run.
Come back
Keep an eye on it.
with 2
On the
out.
flat. If it goes to become a game again, I'll flip it back.
Well, I was gonna say, so you could watch the 1, 2, 3, you're out, and game over.
Wait for that walk-off grand slam. That's going to be great.
That's gonna be a double grand slam.
It's triple.
Right.
Well, a couple home runs and a couple of grand slams. Then we got it, right?
Hey, we go around the lineup 3 times, we're in.
We got a chance. How sad
We
is
got
that?
a guy batting and on third at the same time.
2 grand slams wouldn't tie up the game.
That is pathetic.
That is pretty grim.
That was not the team that showed up last night.
No.
I mean, what happens in a 24-hour span that they go from so good to so bad?
Pitching has been a problem for them all season. They have a power-packed lineup, but the pitching has been suspect. You're trotting guys out with a 5.12 ERA. Make it
Yeah,
a,
and
make
I
it
wonder
a,
why they're giving up 3 dingers and 4 batters. Ay.
Your ideas and passion can make a difference. Submit your resume online. Go to salemmedia.com and click on careers. That's salemmedia.com and click on careers. Success lives at Salem Media Group. An equal opportunity employer. Go to salemmedia.com and click on careers.
Went did my walk this morning. Left a little before 8 in the morning. It was freezing and foggy, so I wore
Right.
sweats and a sweatshirt.
and then as soon as the sun came out,
About 8:20. I was really wishing that I hadn't. Jeez.
What did it reach out there? It has to have been pretty stiff.
It was 103, I think, when I left to come here.
Oh, in my car, it still said it was 102 on my drive. I'm like, the sun is going away.
On the drive-in?
Mm-hmm.
Yikes.
Oh, I put up before I left, I mowed the lawn and took care of stuff at the house and put up my Halloween decorations. So that was kind of fun. But in the 106, so it wasn't that pleasant, but I knew I had to get it done.
Yeah, we've got. Oh, the lady from about the ghost guns hung up.
Oh.
Barbara in Torrance, CRPA website, who to vote for, and Roy in Santa Monica, Turkish guns. Oh, that should be fun.
Uh-oh. After I told everyone not to buy anything Turkish. That's not a dig on a total dig on quality. It's also a dig at the.
Their politics are very, very bad, and Erdogan wants to be the Grand Caliph, and they want you dead.
Yep. So.
All part of the big game. Seriously.
Just
sounds like a fun-filled country to me.
Mm-hmm.
Used to be a little bit more rational, and they are not anymore.
Nope. You can change your name, but you can't change your history.
Well, sure you can. What's the new thing? What's she saying about looking into the future unburdened by the past? That's right out of the Bolshevik handbook. Basically, unburdened by the past, we're changing it and going to make it different now.
Yeah. I mean, the red flags are all over the place, but people are wearing them as capes, so it's great.
Well, and again, those that forget the past are what? Condemned to relive it, yeah.
People, but you know what? People always have these dreams of grandeur. If I was back there, things would be different. Well, we're getting back there. Let's see how good you're living then, okay? You want to be there so badly.
Delusions of grandeur. I deal with it every day.
Well, I'll bet you do.
Mm-hmm. I looked this up on the internet, and they're going for $10,000. Well, that's for a super rare one that's in 100%. Yours is a bone stock, average, everyday run of the mill, and it's in about 5% condition.
And you painted one side of it.
Yeah, and the other side is solid rust. So.
Many times, it's just a simple root patch, but the longer you wait, the more damage it can cause, costing you thousands of unnecessary dollars to repair.
Right now, we're offering free roof inspections and free estimates. This
Oh.
we share your values.
Every record has been destroyed or falsified. Every book rewritten, every picture renamed, every date has been altered. The process is continuing day by day, minute by minute. History has stopped. Nothing exists except an endless present in which the party is always right. That's 1984.
I was going to say, that sounds like Orwell.
Yep.
I used to carry that book on my dash to just make sure I kept it in my mind and always thinking about. And then I remember I was up one night and I saw it come on the TV and I was like, okay, let's finish the loop here. Let's see what the vision was.
Yeah. He should.
The Answer.
Donna, Donna, oh prima donna. So she's fine. Cause my heart, oh, girl, to go. I don't remember the words. Nailed it. She had a pair of roving eyes. Welcome back, everybody, to Gunslingers right here. Oh.
The Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
That's right, folks. We are dedicated to Dion and the Belmonts 24 hours a day.
24 hours.
We just can't ever remember the
Play
lyrics.
the next track.
We'll let him do the heavy singing.
Yeah, boy, I tell you what. Okay, again, this is our second power packed hour, and we got phone calls. Give us a call. What's the number, Jimmy?
That's going to be 866-870-5752. Once again, that's 866-870-5752. 5752.
Make that call to the Wolfman gonna get you.
And another shout out to making sure if you're not catching us on terrestrial radio, you're watching the streams over on Rumble, X, and YouTube. Make sure you leave your comments there. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share it, folks. Let's spread it around.
That's 3 different things.
And rumor is we are coming up to the end of our double secret probation.
Oh, on Faceplant? Yeah. Well, what we might do is we might revisit for a week or two just to tell people to go to the other one.
Just to redirect you, folks.
So we'll
Have you
see about
learned
that.
anything from this time in the dug hole and in the in the penalty box?
In the no, I haven't.
Which is why it may not be a good fit for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's Faceplant or Space Place or Peyton Place Plant. Whatever the hell that stupid thing
But the other streams are working great. We love being on X. The comments are open there, folks. So if you want to jump over, if something's going on the other ones, jump on over there. You can go ahead and leave your comments now. We've corrected that. So
your comments, your thoughts, your witty repartee.
Oh, and I got emails the other day. Okay, for those of you asking or that give a damn, I finally did it. I finally rode my horse again.
Oh, yeah.
You got back, on the horse.
I got
literally.
back, and yesterday I took my boy Pete out for a zip around the block.
That's your old boy, right?
Well, I got rid of the one that damn near killed me. Yeah, he shuffled off to Buffalo, and so I got back. Me and old Pete, and Pete's getting cantankerous in his old age. He's always been kind of a real soft, easygoing guy, and.
Well, how warm was it, in fairness?
Well, we went early. I went out about 7:30 in the morning.
That's not bad.
So it wasn't too bad. But we went down, down the road and around the block, and in Norco, around the block is an hour and a half. So.
That is true.
Fairly large blocks in Norco, so we went and did that and
the
came
block
back.
Goes into the sunset.
I'd be lying if I didn't say I was just a little bit nervous, even on Pete, because.
Well,
I'm still dealing with the pains and problems from the last time I
once bitten, twice shy, right?
Kind of, sort. Well, yeah, once tossed off, 3 times broken. Yeah. Anyway.
I'm an avid motorcyclist, and I remember reading an actuarial table that said an injury that will break your leg when you're 21 will kill you when you're 61. Same impact, same force, etc. And that applies to horses too, young man.
Oddly, I don't bounce quite as high as I used to.
Kind of hit and flop.
Yeah, pretty much. It was kind of like a wet newspaper coming off of the top of a 3rd-story roof. Yeah, exactly. That was me hitting the ground, and
the man made.
Hope somebody comes along and at least covers your body with roots and berries or something.
Well, a few people threw things at me on their as they drove by, but that's another story.
Let the coyotes take me.
Let's get to Barbara in Torrance. Barbara, what can we do for you?
Hi there. I sort of feel like a nitwit now because I was calling in to make sure I understood that there was voter's guide recommendations on the CRPA website. But while I was on hold for you guys, I finally found it.
Oh, okay.
Wonderful.
Well,
it's just buried kind of deep for other people that are looking for it. If when you get to their website, if you do a search on voter's guide, there's a place then it'll take you to a page where it says read more, and then it'll take you to a page on the right-hand side where it says recent news. There's a if you select election 24 countdown.
That's not
There's
entirely intuitive, is it? Barbara, you're actually doing a great service to us all. Thank you.
Is this done on DOS 2.0?
It wasn't obvious to me, and I'm usually okay at that. And when I did a search the other day, it took me to 2014.
Oh boy!
Oh yeah.
So maybe they've updated it, but if people just keep looking, it's buried. And if you can get to the campaign and elections page, there's a link on that. If you just keep.
Okay.
So you can go into your search engine, and if you go to where it does say read more, if you scroll down a bit, they have they have links.
Actually a search on the CRPA website.
Yes.
So if you just do CRPA.org and then do a search, I just typed in voter's guide.
Yeah,
perfect.
That's perfect.
And then it'll bring you to a page that says read more, and then on the far right hand side of the page you get to there, it says recent news, and then at the very bottom of that it says election 24 countdown. If you click on that, then there's a link about 2 paragraphs down that says campaign and elections page, and that'll get you where you need to go.
As well, once you go to that read more section, if you just scroll down a bit, there's actually a few links in the second to the last paragraph there that's for state legislative, local, and national offices there. So go ahead.
I guess these get you to the same page. So anyway, for anybody that's interested, just wanted to...
Thank you, Barbara.
We appreciate that. And like I said, are they doing this on DOS 2.0?
Right.
You know,
The dot matrix fritter.
Floppy disks to get this thing going? Gee whiz.
They should put that a little closer to the front
They
page.
need to make it a little more obvious on the very front page for us elders that have difficulty finding things on websites.
No, couldn't agree with you more.
Anyway, all right. I love your show. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, ma'am. Take care, and thanks for the info.
Absolutely.
We'll see you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so I guess we better call the CRPA and go, guys.
Put this somewhere where people can find it.
Yeah, how about like right on the front page?
Front,
I mean,
yeah.
that
30 days.
Not
and
be
then
the worst idea.
If you got an IT guy, he can then move that page to a different location after the election.
There you go.
Of course, you're talking to the second most computer literate person in the room.
Yeah, because that me being the first, you know, that's my computer still blinks 12 p.m. in the upper right hand corner. You got to be old to even understand that, you know that.
You got your VCR.
Yeah. You know, 'cause well, I don't.
We're getting hand signals from the dugout.
I can't see it because there's like 15 shades of glare between us.
Yeah, never mind.
Okay.
Let's just go on.
Apparently, you're supposed to bunt down the third base line.
Oh,
too late for that.
Well, yeah, the Padres bunted down the third base line and got a grand slam out of it. Is that what you're saying? All right, let's get back. Let's get to Roy in Santa Monica. Roy, what can we do for you?
Oh, good evening, gentlemen. How you doing?
Good.
Doing well, but yourself?
Good, good. Well, a couple things. First thing is on the SIG versus Glock versus all that stuff, and the Turkish guns versus, Rock Islands. There's something from Turkey that's actually pretty good, and it's built on original tooling, and that is that new Gerson, which has made it to the roster. I've used one out of state.
Is that the 1911?
Power guy, the PC-35, they call it, whatever they call it. And I can tell you, that's a very fine firing Turkish pistol. They're apparently making it on old FN tooling, which they bought from one of the FN tooling countries that had it, and so it's actually something I was shocked in how it broke down and was interchangeable about everything on there, and now I see it's on the roster in California. But anyway, it was when it first came out, I got to shoot one. It was out of the box, no bells and whistles, and it was just fantastic. So as a high power guy, it was nice to see that something came and it's affordable and it's out there and in the Golden State here, that can be utilized. So that's kind of cool.
That's a good tip, and I think everybody here loves high powers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is that the high power. When people start talking SIGs, I go like, they're great. I carried one in I was put in the capacity used to be at years ago, but you never want to take the grips off in the field. Okay, so just they're great guns when you're doing normal stuff. But let's be real, it's like a SIG 6 series. When you take the grips off those things, there's springs everywhere and weirdness that goes on there. Anyway, and the next thing, Magnum. That was a 45, a blank 45. I know Sid Stimbridge and had a long conversation with him years ago, and that was a 1911 with 45 blanks.
So it was a 1911 with 45 blanks. Okay, that's you're swatting down our YouTube followers, but that's good information.
Yeah, and then the last thing I was going to ask you about is that did you hear this great thing for the Republic? Does nothing for us, but it was a great thing for the Republic, which is one in Kansas about the automatic weapons. Did you hear about this? About the constitutionality, the ATF, about a guy going pro se, and the judge basically threw out his case with weapons that were illegally put together.
The ghost guns?
He argued on August 23rd or August 26th. And it was a day of court, and the judge threw the thing out, and they haven't appealed it. You should look it up and get into it, because as laws go, it's very interesting, because he was basically using the Bruin Act, saying that by what was dealing with the NFA Act in the United States, it is no longer, it's not applicable, and ATF has not appealed it, nor has the Department of Justice or the AG's office. So it's very interesting stuff. You can go look it down, August 23rd, where automatic weapons are constitutional. And the reading on the court case is pretty amazing because it shows that the Supreme Court ruling in 2022 has opened up things.
That's the Bruin decision.
This isn't for hunting and target shooting. We're supposed to have the same things as we had, as was available to the government. And, back in 1791, a cannon or a man-of-war sloop was if you could afford it, you have it. So that's what this argument was, and the judge said, "You're right. Have a nice day." Dismissed. So.
Interesting.
Very interesting stuff. It's just there's little things that pop up all over that if you dig into it, you see, and while that's not maybe helping the West Coast here, it may in time do so because it's showing that precedents being made in districts across the country, which makes the draconian nonsense going on here to be what it is. So,
how much of that goes back to Bruin too? What an important decision that
Bruin.
was.
That's what they're using.
Yeah.
He argued Bruin. That's what the judge said. You're right. It was 2022's Bruin that did it. So.
Okay.
Most people. I'm sorry.
Well, Roy, we're coming up on a break, so we got to go.
Yeah, great. Anyway, just threw this to you. Thank you so much, guys, for all you do.
Thanks for the call. Take care.
What a knowledgeable crowd.
Man, I tell you what.
Hey, best audience on radio, I'm telling you.
I was going to say, most people would not be very happy if they knew the U.S. versus Miller 1939 court case, which is what determined a lot of the firearms law in the United States of America. What the Supreme Court said was the weapon that they were carrying, the sawed-off shotgun, was not in use by the military, and so it was not protected. The back door to that is, then if it had been something in use by the military, it would be protected by the Second Amendment.
Interesting.
Anyway, Tom.
Okay.
Good conversation.
All right, little Jefferson Airplane, surrealistic pillow once again.
Again.
And you listen to Gunslingers right here on
the Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
We'll be right back.
She is looking.
Weeks because they were
every one of them.
Every one of them.
Oddly enough, the couple of really big hits, Somebody to Love and Go Ask Alice, I never picked. I've never played them. I did all the other ones.
But there's so much good B and C material on that stuff.
Yep.
That was an intensely creative band. And I know that was the psychedelic sound, but they really, rock and roll is still shaking out what it was. I mean, the Beatles were rock and roll. Motorhead was rock and roll. The Rolling Stones were rock and roll. The Jefferson Airplane were rock and roll. There weren't really any rules then.
Nope.
And these guys just marched down that road and made a thing.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that.
Oh, Dodgers lost 10-2.
10-2, yeah.
Oh, they got one.
I think they just let a guy score.
I was going to say,
who
do you have? A third baseman would like to pitch. It's his boyhood dream.
Yeah.
Try not to hit anybody.
Yeah. Well, this is second string third baseman.
The sun is sinking in the west. The cattle go down to the stream.
I don't know this version very well. I was going to
nest. It's time for a cowboy to dream. Purple light in the canyons. That's where I long to be with my three good companions, just my rifle, pony, and me. Welcome back.
That's kind of a movie soundtrack, isn't it?
Yeah, from Rio Bravo.
Yeah.
Dino on his country stuff, on his ballads, his country ballads, man, just makes me melt. I'm just like, man,
the king of cool, Dino himself.
Oh yeah,
a martini and a smoke and.
Yep, and his martinis were usually apple juice.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? He played the part though. Eh?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Welcome back, everybody. This is Gunslingers, and we're a live show, and we take phone calls. Jimmy, what's that number?
We want you to call in at 866-870-5752. once again, that's 866-870-5752.
Give us a call. You got questions about guns or paperwork or, how the auction works, or you want to put your guns in auction, or you want to know what they're worth, give us a call.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I'm happy to answer.
You know a little bit about this. How long have you been running this store?
27 years.
What, is there anything that has not walked across? I mean, aside from that 2.3 caliber that we were talking about, is there anything that hasn't come over your threshold at some point?
Believe it or not, because there's so many firearms and types and styles, there's been lots that I've never seen.
Well, and this is California.
Yeah, there's that too. So he was mentioning, fully autos and the NFA, which is the National Firearms Act of 1934, I believe, which outlawed machine guns or submachine guns anyway, and. So, I've had people call and say, "Oh, I've, found my grandpa's Thompson in the attic." It's like, I'm sorry. Love to,
you
but
just
nope.
did.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And you got to be very sorry, because if they didn't get it in under the wire,
man. Put it back in the attic, because I don't want to have nothing to do with it. But thanks for thinking of us.
You're a sweetheart.
Yeah, and some of the other things. My favorite is, this happens at least 2 or 3 times a day. Yeah, I got a Winchester Model 94. What's it worth?
Oh, I love that. That's it.
Yeah,
okay.
And my favorite line. You remember what it is? I got a black Chevy. What do you give me for it?
And if you think that pictures do your gun justice when you're trying to get a good estimation of your value, it really doesn't.
They can. Unfortunately, you're probably not the photographer that's going to get those good pictures
but
out of it.
But I'm using my cell phone, my iPhone 3.
Yeah, and I've got palsy, and
the room was a little bit dark, but you can generally make out the outline.
Right in the middle of an earthquake.
Focus.
And I had my chandelier off. And,
it's either a Winchester or a Walrus. I forget.
I took a picture of it in my closet. There's no light in there, though. I'm so sorry.
But other than that, it's perfect.
Should I have mentioned the fact that it was signed by Theodore Roosevelt? Will that influence the value?
Well, yeah. Believe me, I've had Wyatt Earp's personal gun come in. Mm-hmm. I've had more than one Doc Holliday shotgun.
How about a couple of Bat Mastersons?
Oh yeah, easily. And of course,
he was famous for that.
We had a guy come in with. It wasn't even a famous gun. It was the same model of shotgun that Kurt Russell used in Tombstone, which, if you recall, was an odd duck because it had 2 triggers. One actually opens
a gun, yeah.
And the other one. And to this day, I have still not understood. Now, Kurt Russell is a gun guy.
Was it a Meteor?
That's what Doc Holliday was supposed to have used. But the one, he was not Doc. He was Wyatt. And when he's in the river and everybody's shooting at him, he's in a crossfire, and he walks out.
How you like that?
He's holding that shotgun like it has a pistol grip. I've never understood. Go back and watch. It's like,
I will now.
Yeah, it's like, what the heck is going on here? That, what has he got, a Benelli? Double barrel Benelli with exposed hammers.
Is that the no part?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. There's a couple of odd parts in that movie. My second favorite is
the pistol.
Well. You mean
the bunt line?
Yeah, no, well, that too. But Morgan he's so upset. They shot Mayor Clum's wife. They're bugs. There's no living with bugs, and he freaks out, and he runs right out into the street and runs right down the street and starts shooting pool.
It was angry pool.
Yeah, and then 5 minutes later he gets shot. Yeah,
I play better when I'm angry.
Apparently. Let's get to Howard in L.A. Howard, what can we do for you, sir?
Yeah, I was wondering, the CRPA meet at the LAX, not the LAX, the Los Angeles range. Is it going to be on the 16th, and are they going to show up?
Oh, okay.
Last month they didn't.
Just so you know, they're starting to meet at the VA meeting place in Burbank now.
So it sounds like they're meeting, but they've just changed locations.
They have changed locations.
Okay. And the other thing I was wondering about, I called your store and gave you a That was a mistake.
Yep.
A couple of phone numbers. One for the guy who took over Don McCoy's
I remember that.
winning business, and another for an outfit up in Nevada that makes globe sights for the M1. Did you get that information?
I believe we did, yeah.
Yeah, because I haven't. Mark doesn't pretty much answer the phone, or hasn't done it after I got my globe sights from him. And they really the globe sights make the M1 shoot a lot better.
They do.
You ought to try it.
Oh.
And it's a simple change out.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've shot them with globe sights, and they work quite well.
Good sights and a good trigger, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because it's easier to put the bullseye in the center of a ring than to put it on the top of a post.
Agreed.
I get blurry eyes.
Yeah, me too. Okay.
Okay, you have a. I need the CRPA voter recommendations. I got one from the Howard Jarvis Taxpayer Association.
That's a pretty good source.
All the local people.
CRPA.org.
Yeah, CRPA.org.
And they have a little magnifying glass.
My next door neighbor or my train club buddy who likes to shoot too.
Mm-hmm.
But don't use the little. They have a little tiny search engine on the CRPA website, and just look for Voters Guide, and that'll take you to it.
Just it's at the top of the
Thank
page.
you very much. You have I hope to see you the 16th.
Thanks, Howard. I hope to make it out.
Okay, very good. Howard,
I made it the last time. You weren't there.
There you go. Okay. We'll see you later, Howard. We got to go. We're coming up on a break.
Thank you. Bye.
And just in case, if anyone is going to these meetings, make sure that you head up with whoever's leading it. They'll put you on an email list, and they'll keep you updated for all the info. If they're going to be changing locations or dates, make sure you stay in the loop with them, because they'll go ahead and make sure you have all the info to get there correctly. All right, guys?
And speaking of info, I got the info on where we're going to be next year.
Oh, nice.
We're doing 5 auctions next year.
Yes, man.
And we've already signed contracts with Highway 39 Event Center, and it is at 1563 South State College Boulevard in Anaheim.
Hey,
this place is way cool.
You guys are gonna dig it. Yeah. Everyone, it's gonna make this live crowd even better, man. You guys are gonna love it.
Okay, you're listening to Gunslingers right here on
the Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
We'll be back in a minute.
Yep. Really one of
this is such a well done song, and the video is such a.
What were you trying to tell me?
Oh, I was going to say, give out the phone numbers. The phone. I was waiting for the phone.
Oh, okay.
We're light.
With this thing, there's so much glare. I could hardly.
No, that place you're going, 18,000 square feet.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's got a bar. It's got the venue for all that.
It's got its own great big stage, and it's got a great big TV behind us. It's got its own PA system.
State-of-the-art sound system.
Mm-hmm.
God, how much refreshing is that?
Than the previous place, because this is just before the 22.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
It's just it's past. It's just right by Disneyland. I was checking out on the map.
Okay.
But it's a cool spot.
Sounds like they're making plans. Well, it's a cool spot because there's a reason to go there more than just the auction, which makes it kind of irresistible, and they apparently not going to be chasing you out as soon as it turns 3 o'clock.
It changes it into a whole event. 'Cause
Yeah.
They're coming to an actual place that's there to accommodate people to be there to look at stuff already. It's so cool
Bring
looking.
the whole family.
Yeah,
Check
right.
out the cars, right? Get married there too.
Not grudgingly.
Hey, let's auctioneer and do
Come around. I got a quick spin video that I took.
Oh man, that's really cool. It's like a lounge type thing. So is that will you be in that area too?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, this is the front. There's the stage, and that's all the seating. It seats about.
Now you're not
400.
bringing firearms, are you?
No, everything will be same. The big screen behind us will have it on that.
Awesome. Yeah, he's got it on the big screen too. He was showing it. All right,
Cool.
guys, right on. Oh, that's Mike from Elsa.
I know. I saw.
Okay.
Berlin & Johnson is the personal injury legal team that really cares. 1-800-4-IF-HURT. 1-800, the number 4, the words if hurt. Larry Elder sees the media working for him Another show, weeknights at 7. And take Larry everywhere with the AM 870 The Answer app. Breaking news and talk you can trust.
Quick question. Did you know that the conservative news and talk content that you're currently enjoying on this station and online is supported by advertisers? Here's another one for you. And this one is for our business owners.
Wow, we already an hour and a half into the show.
Right?
I know we haven't had the most phone calls today, but damn, this show runs. Pop, pop.
Programming as much as they do. Listeners, tell your favorite businesses about us. And business owners, contact us today to create and implement strategies that drive people to connect and engage with you, helping you grow and experience the value of long-term loyal customers. Join with us today to continue spreading the good word.
To learn how to reach our audience with your business's message and support AM 870 The Answer, we encourage you to email Chris.
Got a nice email from Rick, or a text from Rick right now. He says he just wants to thank us for our partnership in fighting for all things 2A, our amazing team and assistance throughout the years, our friendship, to which he says he truly values, and says he's going to come take me to lunch soon.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll be able to get some of the Glocks that are not on roster onto the roster? That's one of the questions that...
I didn't hear you.
Glocks back on the roster, do you think it'll ever happen?
It's
before fourth, fifth generations?
Yeah, it's up to Glock. As soon as they feel like spending the money to pay the extortion fees, that's all it's going to take now.
Or the roster going away.
Well, they have to fix Glocks and put stupid pieces on it.
You got to have them, no, they're not.
AM870theanswer.com. With you, it's so the way you move to badly. Because you have me tight. Every time, go the kiss there in the night. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody, to Gunslingers right here on the Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
Couple of real quick things. Number one, don't forget, save the date, December 8th, right here. We're going to do another Motor Slinger show with the one, the only Leon the Motorman in studio, and of course his friend George, the Airplane Man. So we get the Motorman, the Airplane Man, and the Gunman.
Yeah, baby, that's a big show.
Gunman. I like that.
Yeah,
That's
well, it's kind of
that's a movie.
Almost, right? The motor, plane, and gun show.
Fling flyers.
Yeah, cheese
Slung
and
flingers.
crackers. Yeah, I don't know what it. Mud flinger, mud.
So we're in our last half hour.
Uh-huh.
So this show is going fast. But we want to make sure you guys are calling in right now, right?
Yeah, give us a call. What's that number, Jimmy?
That's going to be 866-870-5752. Once again, that's 866-870-5752. And I want to make sure I get this out again. I'm trying to push it as much as we can. If you are watching, or if you want to watch on any of the social sites on YouTube, Rumble, X, jump on, comment as much as you can. Any questions, comments on there? Make sure you're liking, subscribing, and sharing this, guys.
Share it,
Okay.
baby.
And don't forget, Highway 39 Event Center, and they're at 1563 South State College Boulevard in Anaheim. That's where we're going to do our auction starting February of next year.
You guys are going to dig it.
It is so cool. There's something like 45 antique cars in there. Everything from he's got, I think they're convertible, starting with 1958 all the way to 1964 Impalas. Yeah, there's a 69 Camaro pace car. There's all kinds of really cool
That's
stuff.
neat stuff.
They've got a 30s Divco. It's not painted in Helms colors, but it's an old Helms truck.
You know what we should try to do on December 8th, and when we're talking to Leon, is see if maybe we can get him to maybe make a little cameo there. With,
That would be fun.
That'd be great. I think
That
he'd
would
dig
be
it.
right over the plate for him.
I think he would really dig it. So.
I think you're right. And, and as the auctions are going, I mean, we used to do 3 a year. Now we're doing 5 starting next year. We're doing 4 this year. We're doing 5 next year. and we're already booking. You ready for this? December's done. February's pretty much done. We are
Checked
now
off.
booking for April, and that 50 gun collection that we took in, that started. 50 guns started into April.
Elbing its way in.
Yeah, if you guys want to get your stuff in, if you want to join the wonderful world of Gunslinger Auctions, give us a call. It's or just go to the website. It's gunslingerauctions.com, and everything you need to know will be right there. Just go on there and check it out and give me a call. We go pick up stuff. If you get 322s that are rusty and bent, we're not likely to show up for that. But if you got a collection you want to get rid of, we can make arrangements to pick up.
So just imagine that, folks, that already we're going into halfway through the next year's auctions. And so by the end of this year, we may be closing out the April
Next
auction.
year. Yeah. Well, by the end of this year, we're going to be working on December for next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
so you want to make sure, if you want to get them into the auction for any of the recent, the new ones.
Some of the stuff that we've got coming up, I've got a 400 gun collection that we're discussing with the owners with. There's a 300 gun collection that has already been promised to us. I've already seen it.
Wow.
The man is he's not ill or anything, but he's decided to sell, and he wants to spend a little time with his collection before he cuts loose.
Goodbye. Yeah.
So and then I went and looked at 100 gun collections. You ready for this? It's all Winchesters and Colts.
Oh, that's not going to be too yummy, is it?
And
man,
the man is a beautiful home, just absolutely gorgeous home, and he got an unbelievable offer, double what he thought his house was worth, and so he's thinking about selling. If he sells the house, which is likely, then he's going to bring in those guns, and that's over 100 right there.
Is he leaving the state after that, or just?
That's what he was saying.
Why does everybody feel every time somebody leaves California, and we ought to be ashamed of ourselves? Every time someone leaves California, and we know because we have a lot of friends retiring, they always feel like they're escaping the gulag.
Yeah,
right.
It's because they are.
Let's fix this place, man. Let's fix it.
Would be
Sorry,
nice.
Didn't mean to sidetrack that.
But on top of the new auction house and stuff, you know what I think would be another great thing? If we can do a remote show from there sometime at such a cool place, especially with the live crowd, right? Because we pretty much rerun.
I think third Sunday of every month they have a car show there, and they have parking for 500. I think he said.
You can catch us live and in person.
That would be fun.
I would go to that.
I would too. I don't know if the station would be able to set it up.
Hey, you know what?
We just put up a couple of. Come on, we've done this before. Set up a couple of iPhones.
If you recall, yeah, right. If you recall, we tried to do this with conjecture with Leon at the old station, name submitted. We tried to put on, and it was right in our own parking lot, and we couldn't get it done. So, something about insurance and yada yada yada, and what a nightmare. But welcome to California. You can't do anything without it being an absolute nightmare.
You're going to need some permits.
Yeah,
we're going to send that to the permit committee.
At first, you need permits to get the permits.
So the permit committee can get a permit to approve the permit for your permit.
And before you do that, get a permit for it.
That'll be $10,000.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So yeah, that's the story on that. So yeah, we're working on a whole bunch of stuff, and like I said, if the Vegas station comes through, we're thinking about putting some kind of a satellite Gunslinger Auctions place out there. So we may be looking for some folks to be working in Vegas too.
Hey, baby.
I'm going to be in Vegas this coming weekend.
Well, speaking of, really quick, let's give a shout out because our friends in Vegas just had a big match, the
El Dorado Cowboys,
which is and they had the Nevada State Championship,
which we have done in the past, and it's a great match always.
Yep, and putting our money where our mouth is, our two friends and employees from Gunslinger Auctions, John Ringo and Calamity Annie, won their respective classes both.
Congratulations to them.
Round of applause for both of them.
Congrats, John and Annie. For
two of my favorite people, I swear.
Absolutely, for taking home some gold, and then from Vegas even.
And coming out winners from Vegas, you don't hear that too often.
Right, and John told me that it was 105 on Friday and over 100 on Saturday. I was going to try to go, and it's just we're just too busy. I can't. So and after hearing 105 and 103, I'm not all that upset. Because believe it or not, it's unpleasant wearing chaps in 103 degrees. Anyway, let's get to our old buddy Mike in El Segundo. Mike, how are you?
Evening, Mike.
Hi. Well, I grew up in a middle class neighborhood.
That explains everything.
Families living there.
Are you unburdened by
what may have been or might be?
Unburdened by the things that unburden the unburdened people, or rather the people who are burdened who need to be unburdened. Exactly.
I'm even Eric Burden.
Tim Walz pulled the same stunt in his vice presidential debate as Kamala Harris did for the first question she was asked in her presidential debate. And of course, her first question was, are people better off today than they were 4 years ago? And she ignored the question that she did not want to answer and just went on about her childhood. And then Tim Walz did the same thing when it was brought up that he had lied saying he was at Tiananmen Square as if he was somehow supporting the students protesting there.
Yeah.
So,
well, he is a knucklehead.
I know. I hope that people see through all this. I mean, there's no way, even if it was not a matter of Republicans and conservatives and constitutionalists versus communists and socialist Marxists, even if that was not the race, which it is right now, on the Democrat side, they're just too unbelievably incompetent. Not to mention Joe Biden. They covered up his inability to do almost anything for several years, and Kamala Harris even claimed he was totally fit to be president. She was lying. Mm-hmm. Although maybe she really believed he was. I take that back. Maybe with her brain
considering abilities, yeah.
Yeah, anyway, I want to go through several things. I'll try to go quick. First of all, U.S. versus Miller, 1939, that Supreme Court case. What a lot of people don't realize is that, first of all, Miller was a criminal. He was not a law-abiding citizen who somehow got entrapped, in a gun control law. And unfortunately, many of the precedent-setting Supreme Court passed regarding gun laws involved criminals, not ordinary law-abiding citizens who were not committing any crime other than violation of some gun control restriction. Second of all, in that case, Miller never showed up in court. He never had an attorney show up in court. No one argued his case. And therefore, in the opinion, it was written that something like that, given that there was no evidence was presented that a short barrel or sawed-off shotgun is suitable for militia use or is used in a militia or the military, therefore, given an absence of that evidence, we're ruling this way, against Miller. As we all know, there are trench gun shotguns that are short barrel shotguns. I don't know the length. Maybe you guys can fill that blank in for me. But how long?
18 is 18 is minimal.
That's for barrel length in the military, or is that okay? Because you have overall length and the barrel length, right? Okay.
Barrel length is 18. I think overall has to be 26.
Okay, that's the law, but I'm saying military use shotguns, trench guns, going back to old trench guns, World War I, for example. Do you know what the length were?
They were built on existing platforms.
Yeah, the Winchester 97 trench gun actually has a 20-inch barrel, if I recall.
Yep.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, anyway, couple more things. One is, on this election, people need to know how to vote on the ballot measures, too. Because remember, we're in this not just for Second Amendment, because we're in this for the whole Constitution, for freedom. If we lose all our other freedoms, obviously Second Amendment goes down right with it. Mm-hmm. And whether it's First Amendment, whether it's taxing people out of their homes. So one thing the Democrats are trying to do, again, is tax everyone out of their homes like they were doing before Proposition 13 got passed by the voters. So they've been chipping away at that, especially the teachers' unions really want to get rid of it. And they got a lot of money and power behind them, a lot of votes behind them. Anyway, so vote no on Measure 5. Everybody, that will weaken Proposition 13 and make it a lot easier to pass new taxes, to tax people out of their homes. My wife, her family would have been taxed out of their home when she was a kid. They would have literally lost their home. They would have been homeless if the Jarvis-Gann Proposition 13 measure had not passed. And also, you'll notice on the ballot, there's a bunch of ballot measures that start off with very low numbers, and all of a sudden there's a gap. It jumps to higher numbers. The lower number ones are put on there by the communists, Democrats, and the state legislature. And they changed the law just to allow them to not have to go in the normal sequence, like all the other ballot measures are supposed to go, and like the government ballot measures used to have to go. It used to be that the next ballot measure had to be one plus the previous ballot measure, and once they hit some real high number, then they start over again Senate won. So what the Democrats did is to cheat. They changed the law. So the measures they put on the ballot, the state legislature, start off with 1. So that way it's at the top of the ballot. So they believe people are more likely to vote yes on those numbers. So anytime you see that gap, just vote no on all the low-numbered ballot measures. Now, for websites, there's multiple voter guides. Obviously, CRPA.org is one, as you guys mentioned. Go in the search box, search for Voters Guide. Okay, then there's also the Howard Jarvis Taxpayer Association has a good Voters Guide, including on ballot measures, so that's hjta.org. So people should go there. And
Okay,
at the
Mike,
top of the
we're
webpage-
coming up on a break. Wrap it up. I'll give you 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Okay, go to also CraigHuey.com, CraigHuey.com is a very good one. And then Vote Right LA for Los Angeles.com, VoteRightLA.com, CraigHuey.com, HJTA.org, and CRPA.org. Go to all of those, and from that you should get good information. Craig Huey usually has information on the judges also.
All right. Good
so
stuff.
it's really important. And definitely vote, or else you're voting away your freedom by not voting.
Couldn't agree more. Mike, as always, thanks for the call.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Good
Thank
talk
you.
to
Take
us.
care.
He is a plethora.
Man, he's got all the knowledge.
I tell you, I wish I had his energy.
Right?
I wish I had his wind.
And we're almost out of time. We got Brent and Rick and Ed. We're going to get to you right after the break. You're listening to Gunslingers right here on
the Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
And we'll be back in just a minute.
Yeah.
You must have seen her dancing in the sand.
I hope no one's fooled, especially all these real stupid people. You're not a Second Amendment advocate if you're saying you're friends with school shooters, Tim Walz.
Man, oh man, oh man. They keep running. They're such dimwits.
I know.
You got a president right now in office who is not capable of standing trial for charges, but apparently he's got nuclear codes.
Makes sense.
Wow. Safety first, as they always say. Oh, gosh.
Oh, Vegas. This guy has a very pleasing voice, whoever that is.
Talks too fast.
Probably a singer.
He's got to get all it in.
Auctions.com. That's gunslingerauctions.com. That's gunslingerauctions.com.
Round, round, get around, I get around, yeah, get around, round, round, I get around, I get around, get around, round, round, 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 I get around. I'm getting bug driving up and down the same old strip. I gotta find a new place where the kids are hip. My buddies and me, you're getting real well known. Yeah, the bad guys know us and they leave us alone. Even the booth stands.
Yeah, baby.
Okay,
welcome back, everybody, to Gunslingers right here on
the Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
And we still got calls, so let's get to Edward in Riverside really quick. Ed, we only got a couple of minutes. Go.
Okay, just what I've seen in the neighborhood. The Harris wall signs have not increased. I saw a big Trump sign in a yard, but this is like 2 doors up from one of the Harris wall signs, and they're putting it behind their fence, so it's not nearly as well visible. And I'm thinking, well, they're probably worried that the Harris Walls people are going to mess up their sign if they put it out in the front. Mm-hmm. Anyhow.
That's that tolerant left, right?
Yeah, really.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's hard to believe that there's anybody out there that could support them, but
I will trade. I was out at the Claremont Colleges today, and I actually saw a sign, "Vote for Gascon."
Ooh.
I've never seen one of those before, and it was by a college.
Unfortunately, television has become the new gospel, and people just buy it.
Vote for Gascon?
Yeah.
I could not. I literally couldn't believe it.
Anyway, hey, Ed, do us a favor. Call back next week and give us more update, but call earlier so that we can get to you, and we don't have to rush through you, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
Okay, let's jump to Rick in Gardena. Rick, what can we do for you, sir?
Evening, Rick.
Good evening. I just wanted to give an update on Kim Rohde.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
We did the NRA guys went to the CRPA local meeting, gathered up all the voting member signatures we could.
Mm-hmm.
Some people forgot their NRA numbers. So they actually showed up at the South Bay NRA meeting, and I'm just taking a guess that we got about 135 more signatures for her.
Excellent.
And she's so sweet. She was there with her Olympic gold medals.
Oh, nice.
And Captain Rick from the Boating Hour was there with his camera, and he took a picture of everybody who wanted a picture with her, which was everybody.
Oh, man.
Love to hear it.
And you know something? Those medals are heavy. when she put them around my neck, I go, how can you walk around with this thing? Because Captain Rick goes, hey, sit up, you're leaning. Medals are heavy. And she goes, I only do them for photos. But she put it on anyone who wanted a picture with her.
Nice.
Wow. Amazing
gracious.
lady. And remember, when you get your NRA members, here is your voting ballot. In the magazine, it says you are a voting member. If you do not fill out that ballot and mail it in, and yes, put a stamp on it, your vote won't count.
Oh, there you go.
And my biggest pet peeve is life members who never vote. You've got to get out and vote, and even if you just vote for Kim, sign it, stamp it, and mail it by the deadline. That petition will do nothing. We've got to get her back on the board.
Agreed.
Because she fights for California more than you can think.
Yeah.
And she has for her last 2 terms.
I know. I understand.
Do it.
Okay, Rick, do us a favor. Call us back next week so we can talk to you longer, but call earlier, all right? We got
I'll call earlier in the Rick line.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Take care. Bye.
All right.
Okay, now let's get to our favorite and last call for the night, Brent in L.A. Brent, how are you?
Brent.
Hello, you MAGA guarding gunslingers.
Shalom, Brent. Good to hear from you.
What's going on?
Well, I have chosen to equitably rename Hurricane Helen to Hurricane Harris. Since Camilla has been doing as deadly and traitorous a job handling this hurricane as she continues to do with our southern and now northern border, apparently FEMA and the National Guard can't seem to get into the disaster zones, even though well-paid and well-fed undocumented criminals and vandals have no problem. But the good news is many mayors and police chiefs have told their citizens to defend themselves if necessary. So with the $750 Camilla has generously given to the survivors, what gun would you recommend they immediately go out and buy?
Remington 870.
Yeah, I was going to say, a piece of cake and a case of ammo.
Yep.
Mix it up a little bit. Half slugs, half buck.
There you go. Yeah, hands down. It's one size fits all.
Yep.
And if you have time for a question, I'll ask a couple others.
Yeah, go ahead.
But it's to rack or not to rack a shotgun. That is the question.
Ooh. In your house, I would recommend you don't. Keep it loaded and keep it at the ready, but you want to have that noise. You don't want to just have to walk down the hallway. You want that noise preceding you so that people know, uh-oh, there's somebody with a shotgun.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to be leaving now because ultimately that's what you want. You don't want to have to shoot somebody. You want them to just get the heck out of your house. And that sound will usually take care of that. Go ahead.
Well, because I was thinking maybe that will scare them and make them run away. But if it doesn't, you have now given away your location, and that could be fatal, especially if you have multiple Democrats breaking into your house at night.
Fair enough, but anybody that stupid that would stay once they've heard a 12-gauge rack, they're not going to figure out where you're at.
No, a dog can be subdued with the bark, but you really can't stop a machine.
Yeah.
Okay. And also, what sniper rifle did Tom Selleck use in the Down Under Western? And was that Hollywood or reality?
Well, it's a Sharps. Well, it's supposed to be Sharps. I believe it was made by C Sharps. Yeah, in Big Timber, Montana. And it's 45-110.
It's a 45-110.
Yeah.
The paper patch.
Yeah, it is an actual firearm. They make one called the Quigley gun.
Slightly longer barrel than stock.
Yeah, I think it's a 26, 28 inch
like
barrels.
32 or 34. It's a big old thing.
So yes, you could have had that gun made in the Old West. So
is the shot real? And the answer is the Billy Dixon shot 1,578 yards.
Mm-hmm. It can be done. Now, that quickly and offhand.
That quickly? Both of us are shooters. I'm going, but that shot can be made.
Yeah, you'd have to do a few, I think. Yeah. I don't think you could get it with one shot. The bucket shot's what we're talking about. But anything's possible. if there was absolutely no wind,
right?
Because that is one big old heavy bullet, and you'd be aiming at that distance. You'd be aiming.
But he dials that vernier sight up pretty good.
Yeah, it would be quite an arc to that. Let's just put it that way. So.
It was a beautiful scene.
It is a great scene.
It's a fun movie.
There are competitions now across multiple disciplines called Quigley competitions.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. In fact, when you in sniper school, if you get 2 for 1, that's called the Quigley.
That's Quigley shot. That's another one. You're right.
So.
Oh, outstanding.
Yeah. So, the movie has some lasting. Great guy. I met him many years ago at the Pomona Antique. Not car swap meet, the Pomona Gun Show.
Shows?
Yeah, he was right next to me dealing with some friends of mine buying a Winchester for one of the TNT movies, the westerns that he made. Remember, he had in one of them, he had an 1876 carbine.
Right.
I was standing there as he purchased that.
That gun?
Yeah, and very, very nice guy, and
we should get a call in from him sometime.
I've been working on it.
That would be cool.
I put our friends at the Where in charge of getting all of this, and they absolutely, positively forget about me.
He's an NRA guy. Maybe talk with Kim.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. But anyway, it would be nice. I think the problem is he's kind of backed off the firearms thing ever since that Rosie O'Donnell disaster. But anyway, Brent, we got to go. We're out of time for the night.
Okay, great. I'll talk with you next week.
You bet. Thanks for the call.
Bless you.
All right, well, there it is again, folks. 2 hours.
2 hours. How does it go so quickly?
Yeah, well, when you have the Dodger game going over your shoulder that's going so badly, it was a little rough for us in the beginning there, but we made it through.
Hey, we get over it.
And the Dodgers lost 10-2.
And this is the 5-game series, folks. It's not your basic 7 over here, so we got to tighten up. And
we just lost home court advantage. So.
Boo.
Anyway, let's hope the Lottie Dodgers don't show up in San Diego on Tuesday.
Bring your bats, folks.
Yeah. So, okay, we'll be back next week. Of course, we want to thank you guys for listening. Tell all your friends. Make sure. And again, we are spreading out. We're going all over the Western Hemisphere, and hopefully we'll be in Vegas soon. Who knows? Maybe we'll be going to Florida.
Make sure if you guys are watching online on YouTube, Rumble, and X, make sure you like, subscribe, and share, folks. Come on.
And once again, don't forget to smile. Just a little curve sets everything straight.
Yes.
Thank you, Leon. We'll see you guys next week.
All right. Love you guys.
Goodbye,
God bless you.
Goodbye.
Bring the sunny wind.